What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Blab. I appreciate you stopping by. Without further ado, let's blab. Before we hop into it, get it on the ground floor of Blab. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I appreciate you all. So, we all can now see that we are having the TCG player sale. If you just hop on TCG Player right now, it says earn 10% back on store credit, and you can get even more based on your tenure as a subscriber. So I think most of us are going to be getting 10% credit back. I wanted to talk about what I am looking at and what I am trying to buy. Now, generally for TCG Player, I do not buy sealed product. I think buying sealed product that you do not have in hand or are not seeing in person is kind of a goofy move. If you must do so, maybe eBay with good seller feedback and good pictures and things of that nature, but that is not part of this video. We are talking different singles that I am looking at, especially based on where they are in the market right now, what trends I'm seeing. Most of these I do think are going to fall anywhere from 20 to 30% in the next month. I do think that at a macro scale, we are heading towards some sort of dip in the economy in terms of people losing their jobs. Massive companies are laying off massive amounts of people. So I do think in a macro sense, lots of assets will come down. However, when the president is tweeting out that everyone's going to get $2,000 stimulus checks, that is a stimulus check. People will buy things. Some of that money will go into assets. If that is even the truth, I don't think it is the truth. I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But most of these cards, like I said, I do believe will drop 20% ish, most likely in the next couple of weeks here heading into the TCG sale. If they fall 20% and you get the 10% back, it's pretty much 10% off. So I'm thinking I like these cards at a price 30% below where they are now, and that is why I have pulled them up, and that is why I'm going to go over them. First, it is the Bulbasaur from Mega Evolutions, the stamped promo. I do also have the Ends Reshiram. I would like to get both of these cards in the under $15 range. $10 would be good. I do think that promos do well long term. I do like both of these promos. The artwork is fantastic. I actually do like the stamps. Usually I don't like stamps in a general sense, but I do think these are very good representations of, their respective sets. And I just think having a promo from a booster box, the first time they did it here, and then obviously the second time they did it here, are just really sweet cards to have. Maybe I'll try to get a handful of them and grade a couple. I've never actually personally sent in cards to grade. If that makes me a novice, a goofy, or whatever, that's great. It is what it is. I have purchased and sold many different slabs. I just have not submitted myself. Some of these I may think of getting a handful and potentially submitting them. So those are the first two. Next, we go into the the Charmander from the ETB of Obsidian Flames. I do think that this is the best ETB promo. I don't think it's particularly close, but $32 is a little expensive. I would really like to get this in like the $20 range. I'm not sure it'll fall that low, just due to the sell-through. I don't know why it's not loading here, but these are highly in demand. We'll see if more come to the market or if these just get eaten up in the TCG sale and the price actually goes up. I do think that in general, prices will come down, but there are some in particular cards that I think will go up. As we continue with the ETB promos, EV, under $10, like $7 range, that's where I want this card. I want a ton of copies. I think it is fantastic. It has the Pikachu, plush. I just think it's a really good looking card. It's a promo. It's EV. I like it. I think it'll do well long term. I wouldn't mind having, a page or two of these in my collection. Next, the Magneton. $5 is a really decent price for this. I don't know how much lower it can go. I know people remember the times of 50-cent promos, $1 promos. It's just not the world we live in anymore. I do think getting this card at $3-4, a whole bunch of them. It is a Shinji Kanda. It does come out of one of the better sets of the Scarlet and Violet era, that being Surging Sparks. And let's just keep going. Miraidon and Koraidon. I think both of these cards sub $5. No-brainer play. Page or two in the binder. I'll enjoy looking at them. If I eventually want to get off them, I don't think they're necessarily bad plays at under $5. So that's Miraidon and Koraidon. And then last we'll do, not last in the video, but last for the ETB promos, the Ends Zorora. I don't really like this card that much, but if it falls to $2, $3, $4, and I can get a whole bunch of them, just maybe fill out a binder of ETB promos now that most of them have fallen pretty significantly from their all-time highs. This is why I'm watching it this month though, because a lot of these, like, for example, let's look at the Charizard. It's kind of testing its previous high around the $27 mark, and that's true for a lot of these where you have, see, like it's broken under its previous high, right? So I'm trying to see how that go. Like, this is kind of artificial over here. I would call this like what I'm really looking at, 665 right now. So we have broken under it already. For some of them, like you can see in the Koraidon, Rhydon, and all of that kind of stuff, maybe it hasn't or has broken above that mark. This is a good one right here. So we're right there. So I'm really interested to see where that goes in the next couple of weeks as we approach the 10% off sale. So those are the ETB promos. Now let's go. Last one. I mean, sure, a couple bucks for this one too, just because it comes out of the best set in the Scarlet and Violet era. At least that's what everybody says. But if the best set of the Scarlet and Violet era has a promo as bad as this, is it really the best set? We don't collect ETBs, right? It's only booster pass, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I keep forgetting them. Is the next one? Okay, the next one isn't, right? All right, Snorlax, same thing. $7, $8 range, I'll buy them up. Is it going to, test this right here? We're right there for a lot of them. For a lot of them, we're right at that previous high. So will it break under that? That remains to be seen. That's why I have these pulled up now, and while I will be quote unquote tracking them in the next 2-3 weeks or so. Next is Arceus. This is like $20 shipped, I guess, for most of these. I just think it's a really good looking card. I like it. $15, $14, $13, maybe, a seller for $17, $18 has 5 or 6 of them. Wouldn't be mad about getting into this. Next is Pikachu. I believe this comes out of the, what is it, like Paldea Evolved chest or whatever. I think I have one. I do think that this will do well long term. I like the colors, the background, flagship Pokemon. It does all of that for me. So, sort of same range as like something like the, Eevee. If it's in that, $7, $8 range, I wouldn't mind picking a handful of these up. Next, we'll go Victini. This one, turns a lot of heads. Is this going to go to the moon? Is it going to crash? Are people buying Black Bolt? Are people buying White Flare? I'm not buying this box, but if this gets down to $5, like I would not mind having a handful of them. I am a fan of the cartoon-looking cards. I do think promos in general do well long term. Any of these sorts of promos at $5, I am not mad at. Do I want to pay like $10, $11 shipped per? No, not for something like this. I'd probably be more inclined to do, even here, I don't want to do $10, $11. I'd rather get 7, 8. I'd really like to be sub 10 on a lot of these ETB promos or chest promos, collection box promos, things like that. And then the last one is this Psyduck right here. I'm interested to see where it goes. It is a very new card. Coming out with the 3-pack blister for MEO1. I don't know. Maybe this is like a $2 card next year, a $1 card. I don't think so. I think Psyduck is a very popular Pokemon. I really like Psyduck, and apparently this is based off like some sort of old painting or something. Whatever. I think it's sweet, and I wouldn't mind getting a couple for a couple bucks, right? And then the last one here that I'm planning on getting during the TCG sale, if you could guess it, it is the number 1 illustration rare in Scarlet and Violet, at least my favorite. And I plan on getting a whole bunch of these as the sale comes up. Metagross from Temporal Forces, maybe my least favorite set in the entire Scarlet and Violet era, but this card is outrageous. You've heard me talk about it many times if you've been subscribed to the channel. This is one of the best detailed cards. No, obviously it's not texturized, it's not an SIR, but the way that the snow looks with the sky that way, and you seeing the sky and the bulldozer, I just think it looks super sweet. You got Metagross in there just looking menacing. You got another one in the back rolling a snowball. I just think it's awesome. But yeah, those are the cards that I'm looking at. Mostly all promos. Maybe I'll add a couple to this list that are IRs or SIRs in that under $30 range. Again, I don't like buying cards on TCG Player or really any product at all that's more than like $100. Not being able to see pictures is kind of just crazy work. I know that a lot of these big stores, they list hundreds of thousands, if not millions of cards sometimes on their stores, and, taking pictures of every single card would not be feasible. I do think it makes sense that any card that's more than $4.99, I don't know, put some benchmark in there. Any card that's over $9.99, like, you should have to put a picture up, right? I mean, it's not that hard. Scans have made it very easy. Anyway, I'm getting into a tangent. You're watching a guy called Blab. This is where my head's at. Mostly promo cards, sub $30. If during that time some $50 promos become $40, $30 promos, I'll also be looking at those. Wink, wink. Charizard UPC, not the one that's coming out now, but the previous one in the Sword and Shield era. All of those Charizard promos are between like $30 and $60. So looking at those two, I wouldn't mind a page of really any of those, but mostly of a Charizard fighting Mewtwo. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I know I'm blabbing, and I'll see y'all in the next video.